being 7:05 on April 30th, the Board of Health meeting to order. Tonight we have new officers, we have elected officers, we have soon-to-be nominated officers, a whole bunch of other issues, but first thing on the agenda tonight is the update hearing on 1343 Washington Street. Sharon?
Well, I think the main thing I was going to have is the occupants come up and just explain what their concerns are. Do you want to come up here? Hi, Ben. Do you want to just tell the board some of the things that you're concerned about?
Well, we know she directed us, we know that you can't help us with that. But we did observe yesterday that she is letting somebody move in.
And move into which, your apartment or somewhere else?
Actually, he was putting things into the garage.
All right. I can't do much about that unless I see someone that is occupying a place they're not supposed to, but what else would you, I mean, there's nothing I can do about that right now. Do you understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you don't know if it's a friend storing stuff or what. Yeah.
Well, she's only had 2 prospective tenants that we know of. Actually come in and look at the apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And needless to say, then we get a letter, I gave you a copy of
Mhm.
that letter,
Mm-hmm.
stating that she's already rented the apartment.
And as I said to you, when she comes in, I'm gonna remind her that on her notice of correct order, it clearly states that the dwelling unit cannot be occupied if it becomes vacant until all violations are corrected and a letter of compliance is issued by the Board of Health. She cannot reoccupy it if you folks leave until these violations are corrected.
As you've seen when you were walking around, she has not done anything with the stairs.
Now, I'm going to address that tonight. The three items that the board clearly stated to her 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks, was it 2 weeks ago we were here, have not been addressed. But I need to talk to her about that when she gets here. There has not been any permits pulled. And the wire inspector did go out and wrote up some sub-panel and closet feeder cable under size for load. It's pretty serious. No connector, unknown size of fault protector, and the tenants do not have access for their system for their breaker system in the basement. And he wrote down something about the FPE in panel is problematic and should be replaced, but as of this morning, there were no electrical or building permits pulled for this address.
Well, she had somebody measuring the top of those stairs outside this afternoon around, what was it, 4 o'clock?
Somebody saw.
And my daughter did say to the gentleman hi, and he did respond hi. I don't know where she was.
She's done fix the stairs.
Well, one of the things I need to report back to the board is that I know that they clearly stated in the last meeting we had here that there were 3 major things that were to be done, which was the lock on the front door,
Hasn't been done.
the electrical work, and then the second means of egress. And there aren't any, but that's something the board's going to address when she comes back in. But I just wanted to make sure that you knew that there aren't any permits pulled yet for those items either. I did find out, and I think that the ceiling heights range from 6.6 inches, 6 feet 6 inches, to 6 feet 8 inches in various places in the entire apartment, because not one ceiling is like straight across, there's divots and stuff. But I did find out from the state that we can give a variance for that little bit that's under the 7 feet, just to let you know. But I think at this point, that isn't as critical as some of these other issues, but I just wanted to let you folks know that I did talk to the state again after we did the measurements. She does need an update, and I wanna find out, and I'm sure the board does too, why some of the stuff hasn't moved along. And
She may put that on us because she may say that we won't allow anybody in the apartment.
She has stated that to us.
I haven't heard that from her. And on the notice that you folks had, again, it talks about access for repairs.
Yes.
I have not heard from her stating that she was having difficulty.
We
getting
sent
work
her a letter basically stating we won't go, get a court order. And again, she pulled, next thing I know, I just found out, there's a restraining order. Gee, that's communications.
No, we don't have anything to do with some of this.
I know, but
Yeah.
needless to say, we would allow, say, town officials in,
Mhm,
And we told her that.
and we told her that.
mhm. Well, you do have to, under,
And if she said, if she had, say, let's say she had, somebody that wanted to come in and raise the ceiling,
mhm.
come in.
Yeah,
We'd allow the workers to come in.
well, that is what the regulation is, that upon reasonable notice, that you need to allow her or her workers in to do repair work, and it sounds like
She
you're willing to
actually
do
told
that.
us, it was one Sunday, I forget what day it was, I know it was Sunday, that an electrician was coming up, because she knocked on the door, I answered it, I had dinner on the table, actually.
Mhm.
I told them, give us about 10 minutes.
It was a Saturday,
Oh, is that, no, it was, okay.
dinner time,
Anyways,
and that was disruptive.
when I went back downstairs, I actually asked him if he had a license or something, because he said he was electrical, or at least Margot did. She said, oh, no, I did not say that, I said he was a prospective tenant. And I texted you guys, communicated with you, that he was coming in.
Meaning she communicated with you, you're saying?
Yes,
correct?
well,
Okay.
with Mom, but,
Yeah.
Memo never received anything.
I never received
Is the
it.
fact that she told us that he was an electrical inspector coming in to do work on the electrical stuff.
Well, I think what I'm gonna, we will talk to her about tonight is why hasn't this been done, those three
She's
items.
gonna put it on us.
Well, I'm just
But
gonna
we
hear,
just heard from you that
yeah,
it's not you, so.
and then the fact that permits haven't been pulled yet, and the board clearly stated that those are serious violations that needed to be addressed. But I need to hear from her of why she hasn't done this, and then we're gonna have to, make a decision of either, of the next step to this, but, I need to hear from her also.
Okay, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
All right, so I know as a homeowner, she has to pull permits. Can she like hire Jane Doe off the street to do the stairs and then pull the permits? Or does she have to pull the permits first and then hire Jane?
Well, I believe that, that's something that the building department should answer, because I don't issue permits for building or wiring. But I believe they have a certain amount of time that they can start the work, but then pull a permit within 3 or 4 days of the work
Oh, okay.
starting. But that's something that you can check if you want with the building department. But you do have to have licensed workers for electrical and the second means of egress. And the building inspector and the wire inspector issues the permits, and then they also do the final inspection,
Yeah,
and then tell me that the work has been done to their satisfaction of the code, so I can sign off on those sections.
because I mean, when we said something about it, she basically sent us a letter, and this was back in, I think, March, that the wiring and everything was up to code.
But it's not,
I know.
Rose.
I know.
Because we had the wire inspector go into your
Yes,
unit,
I
and
know.
he has written a letter saying it's not up to code. And we need to talk to her tonight about why a permit hasn't been issued, and to find out when the work's gonna start. But I have to wait till she comes back in.
Is there any way we can find out what,
That's probably the best thing to do, is you can call my office tomorrow morning, and I'll give you an update on what the board decided. Yeah.
maybe we'll stop down?
Well, if you, why don't you call beforehand, and, because if you want to stop down to see me, sometimes it's hard, just a spontaneous piece. But if, I could certainly make an appointment to see you. Yeah, yeah, it's just sometimes I have other things that I've already lined up.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you see me in and out, yeah, but I'd be glad to talk to you, it's just that it's easier when I know you're coming in. Yeah, I don't have to,
All right, well, we have an appointment at 11 or so in Whitman, so.
call me at 8:30 tomorrow morning, and I'll look at my schedule, all right? All
Yeah, should be about it.
right. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Good luck.
Thank you for coming.
I don't like it back yet.
It would be better if there's, given the circumstances, they don't close down.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
While we're waiting for the owner of the property to come in,
Yes, I do.
I just want to update the board on vouchers. There's a new voucher process, and
Yes, it's called KBS system.
Sharon will tell you it's the KBS system. It's the new voucher system.
Sounds
Um,
high tech.
Rather than getting separate vouchers, and we're signing on separate vouchers, they're gonna list all the claims to be paid, and then there's a page to sign. And I had, Mary had lines, so we know when to sign the voucher, so. All the attachments to what, all the different expenses are attached to it, so you can look at it, but that's new voucher system. What's it called again?
KBS,
Okay, well, now we know it's the
V as in
KBS
Victor?
voucher system.
Yes. Do you want me to maybe go over my health agent report?
Why don't we have the health agent go over the health agent report while we're waiting?
That sounds like a great.
It's a great idea, I swear to God. Let's move.
Would you like a copy of one, Tom?
I'll just listen.
All right, all right.
I'll grab it.
I did do, several, food inspections, as you can see, and, again, I have good news that I see a tremendous change of people being much more compliant than they were when I started a couple of years ago. They know I come every 6 months, but I also think they are understanding the procedures of, conducting a safe food or retail establishment. 6466 Whale Street is a case that has been going to court since September, and actually not since September, since January. I've had violations cited since September. And the defendant did come to court, and also last week got a restraining order against her occupant so she could get in there to do work. And we have a continued court date until May 9th for a status of getting the work done. There's also, one of the bills that you were gonna sign is from a service of the sheriff having to serve papers. And I did have the judge write in the court order last week that she would have to pay those charges back to the town. 1343 Washington Street is what we were just talking about. 8284 Whale Street is exterior housing code violations, that there is work in progress. And the owner asked me if he could have some time this spring, and I granted it. So I'm not gonna go back until June 25th, 2012. 138 Randolph Street is a house that the bank actually ended up taking over, and I recited the exterior violations to the bank, and they actually did a great job of correcting all those violations, so that property is done. I recently had 2 complaints that came in for 118 High Street, which is exterior housing code violations, and then a tremendous amount of debris in the rear yard. I sent a notice to correct the order out today for the owner. And then 1353 Washington Street is a house that abuts this house that we were talking about at 1343, and there was a lot of debris in the rear yard, and I actually spoke to the owner today, and has been very appreciative of hearing about it, and is gonna get on as far as getting it taken care of. Updates, we had, which was really nice, our South Shore Recycling Cooperative meeting was held here in Abington last week. Terry and I conducted a rabies clinic a few weeks ago on April 14th. We had 61 dogs and cats vaccinated.
And people were allowed to get their dogs registered
At the same time, so it was sort of a two-stop shopping.
Anyone with it?
No.
Oh, wonderful.
Noise regulations. I have been talking to a gentleman named Mark Woolman from DEP, who has graciously said he would come down to one of our meetings
Great.
and help us rewrite the noise regs and also get some good sampling of others from towns and cities in Massachusetts. And I specifically mentioned that one of our issues when we have commercial residential properties back to back, that it makes it difficult for the enforcement of that. So he just asked me to find out from you folks what meeting you'd like to have him come to, and he would come down from,
2 weeks.
2 weeks
Next time
from
before
today.
the next meeting.
Our next meeting,
I think his guidance would be very helpful with this.
especially since we don't have experience with that change in zoning. We don't have experience in noise regs,
Right,
period, but.
And he might be good about adding stuff, deleting
Yeah,
stuff,
he'll think
you
of
know,
things as
stuff
we
like
Where
that.
is he?
He's from the Department of Environmental Protection that actually puts these out,
Great.
yeah. I spoke to him today. Creative Outdoor Advertising is a business that actually spoke at the South Shore Recycling Cooperative meeting. And what they do is they actually put out, I actually have a picture somewhere, of these trash and recycling bins that would be put out on different locations like downtown or wherever, or DEP or, DP, McKinnon or, there's some pictures, would find it beneficial. And we don't pay for anything of this. They put them out, there'd be one section for trash and then 2 sections if we wanted for recycling, because we have single stream recycling. They clean them up, they pick up the recycling, they're permanent fixtures, they put the pads down if needed. And how this is paid for is they go around and ask for advertising from different businesses in the town that they would put on the logo of the container as a way to, it's a good way of businesses in Abington to say they're supporting their community, but I think it's a great program.
Keeps the community clean and people recycle more if they.
Exactly, because it's there.
So they was a public receptacles?
Correct. Yeah, and we would get 5 to 7%, I believe it is, or maybe it's 3 to 5% back in the profit sharing of the recycling. If they pick the recycling up, if we had, like, say, Kennan folks do it, it would be more like, I think it was 8 to 13%. But either way, I think it's a very good program. And there was quite a few towns here last week represented, and we were all pretty excited. So I just wanted to bring that in and show it to you.
So the money would go back to the town or to
General
the?
fund.
Small piece of it would go back to the town. But the big thing is, it's another piece of really putting out the promotion of recycling and having areas available to be able to be recycled. Because you see now, you just have one container out there and people just mix it together. That's the whole point of what we're trying to eliminate. So that was,
Sounds good.
yeah, I wanted to show you that. The next, these are just updates I had on my list. There is a condo association meeting, I think I wrote you folks an email.
Yeah.
It just came up last week at 7 p.m. on Thursday of this coming week to have John speak to the 5 condo associations that are currently grandfathered with their trash and recycling pickup.
Do you know what room that's in?
Cotter room.
Gonna televise it?
I'm assuming so, I don't know. The next one is, did you receive my email of regarding the deletion items for our current budget? Okay, just to let you know what was being deleted, okay.
I didn't understand that first line.
The,
Which, of an item?
adding in the part-time,
Oh, remember we had,
Inspector?
yeah, that was for, remember we talked about for food, it's been deleted?
You want to have a part-time inspector, help out with doing
it
inspection.
was something that we
Oh,
like
that was a
added
new
in.
position.
Yes,
It
yes,
wasn't- it
yes,
wasn't
yes,
ever-
yes, that's been
never came
deleted.
All
to
right,
be,
I was
Yeah.
getting worried there.
That's the,
Gone.
no, these are
Before
the
I got
items
there.
that were on the current budget for FY '13 that have been removed, so I just wanted to make sure you saw those. The next piece is I just added up my comp time at 24 hours. I was called in, just to let you know, I did let Bob know. It was a Saturday that they had the environmental day,
That was
I guess it was
about
the 21st.
Sure.
Vin and Eddie's had a fire at their restaurant. Luckily, it wasn't that huge, but I was called in by the
Kitchen
fire
fire.
department. I'm sorry?
Kitchen fire.
Kitchen fire, yes.
Correct.
And I was called in by the fire department, and then I
So
went,
the ANSI system had to go off,
yeah, and then they had to reset the
strike phone system.
Oh.
the alarm. But I had them embargo the food that was
And
in
it was
the
just
area, and then had bleach put on it, and then taken out to the dumpster, and made notes of what items were removed.
Just another thing we didn't know, we do what we have to do, so.
Yeah, I do need
Everybody
to,
thought it was
I know, it's
$200.
getting there.
I do need to schedule some vacation time in the next,
You go right ahead.
oh, thank you, the next few weeks, because I've got some personal and vacation time I gotta bring down also. But we brought in, according to Mary, because I asked her, as of March 5th, 2012, $5,135.34 for turnover. And we sold, just to let Terry know, one more propane tank since July, since the compost has been open, compost site, since this last March 31st. And the last thing I wanted to just add is,
Interject, because you have the CRTs. Do we have a full trailer down there? I thought we just emptied it.
it was emptied, what, like a month or so ago?
Yeah,
But they have not said that to me. They brought the key and the information back this morning, but they haven't said it needed to be emptied.
I didn't think it did, because I
Yeah,
remember
we did
signing the
call-
voucher.
Yeah, we did call Just Books today to have them empty that. And the only other thing I just promised Terry, I would remind her, is to talk about the compost site with
And it is
Mr.
on the
Needle.
agenda, so
Okay,
we'll talk about
all
it.
right. Do you want me to
Thank you.
check to see if Margot's outside?
Yeah, can I just
Yes,
ask a quick question?
sure.
So, just so people know, what would be an example of excessive debris in somebody's property?
Well, the one that was on High Street is, there's piles of wooden furniture, there's piles of, broken basketball hoop, there's tree branches, there's tree trunks, there's stuff that concerned me enough that would warrant what you'd call like a rodent harborage, mosquito breeding incidences, because when the water ponds.
Yeah,
And also, I actually forwarded this particular complaint, or my order, to the fire department, because it was in such close proximity to the back of the house.
okay, I
Yeah,
just wanted people to
that-
have an
So-
idea.
Sometimes, I mean, there was actually another one on the same street that I went out and I actually talked to the person that made the complaint. I said, it's unsubstantiated, I'm not writing this up. It was like a dead tree in the backyard.
So it
and I
wasn't
said-
enough of concern.
It's not, and it's just like if someone has stuff that they might consider an eyesore, I won't write that up. It has to be based on criteria that has a public health issue to it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
What's next on the agenda?
I would say to have the owner,
We just had someone check.
come
see if
in
she's there.
and see if she's here.
Okay.
Can I ask another question?
Sure you
while we're
can.
waiting? So, I know Plymouth County, usually there's a phone number you can call. for
Mosquito control, yes, we have it.
Do we post that number?
We post it on our website, we
Okay.
have it posted in the office.
And when, do you know when they'll do it? I haven't done that in a
It's,
while.
they will call when they feel that it's starting to be time to,
The Kent residents maintenance call?
Yes,
They can,
yes.
correct? Isn't it until October or something?
Yeah, they will call when they feel also that it's not as necessary towards, at the point in the fall. But yes, there is a number that you can call.
Can we post that, or do you have?
We have it posted on our town website. Hi, thank you.
Hi.
Come right up, please.
I'm gonna ask you, I know you speak very softly, but try to do as best as you can, because we had a hard time even hearing you on our tape last time.
Yo.
Speak freely and be heard.
Yo.
Hi, Margot. Hi. I just wanted to just bring you up to date on the stuff that I'm aware of. I think you remember the last time you were before us, there was 3 things that the board asked you to complete
Yes.
that were serious, which was the fire, as second means of egress, the front door lock, and the electrical work to check in.
Yeah.
Okay.
I told the electrician, and I told him yes, but I'm waiting for his schedules. It's not possible.
So you do have a quote from electrician?
Yeah.
Okay, and it works with what the wire inspector had asked to be done?
For the backlight and the wiring.
For the inside closet piece? Okay, because and then there's a situation of that you do need to allow your tenants to have access to the basement.
No, there's only one apartment.
They still would have to be able, if there was a reason to get into the basement for, this is what the wire inspector told me, that you have to give them access.
There's no bulkhead, there's no.
What is down in the basement for electrical stuff for them?
So if they tripped a breaker, if the electricity went out?
He just was telling me that they had to have access to the basement. We're allowed.
How old is that apartment? It was built about 1900.
I'm wondering if there's any, I've never heard of a house not having some outside access to the
Yeah,
cellar,
that's why
but
I had my washer's broken, and I know no one's not gonna go in. So that's what
I'm wondering if there's any variance or grandfather.
I don't think there is for the, this is something that Russ told me, that they just need to, you have to give access to the tenants for the basement. But you can talk to him about it if you want. The other thing is, so do you have something from an electrician?
I've asked him,
And he has not, as of today,
but they also told me not to, they can get.
yeah, there is, he also, were you aware that he said that the cable was undersized for your load in your apartment?
I'm not sure.
I can give you a copy of this, because this is, once he pulls a permit, he's gonna have to talk to the wire inspector anyways, but there were some things that the wire inspector specifically stated that need to be corrected here.
Okay.
Okay. I'll wait for a second for him to change the tape.
You're on.
Can you tell us a little bit about what has gone on or regarding the second means of egress?
Sure, I spoke to a couple of days before, on the Friday before the inspection, the 17th. He told me he'd get me an estimate and then he'd call Marshall and get all the details. So I left him 3 messages since then. I went and talked to Marshall today, he hasn't heard from him, so I gave up. I called someone else, so I told you it today. I haven't gotten an estimate yet. But I don't know if they said something, I don't know. I really surprised me, I've used him before.
And we've got to start moving on this, because that egress is very, very shaky. I mean, Marshall, like you said, you could almost push it over with one hand. Yeah. And the lock on the front door?
I was waiting until they leave this ordered today.
Yeah, we have nothing to do with the fact of them leaving or not. It's a security piece. I think they mentioned that last time. It's to make sure that someone just can't walk in the front door and, being in the middle of your hallway.
Okay.
Yeah. The other thing that they did mention, they had mentioned today that they thought you had re-rented the unit.
I do have some parents.
You cannot re-rent that, reoccupy it until you have a letter from my office saying that the violations have been corrected.
Okay,
It's right on the bottom of your,
It doesn't look like they're in it, so.
But I just wanted to let you know that, because the whole part of occupancy is making sure that the violations are corrected.
Okay.
All right. So that's why you can't reoccupy it until we can tell you that it's been in compliance, just to let you know.
Is that why they were taking pictures of his spray?
I'm sorry?
Of his creepy.
I did find out from the Department of Public Health that you're, after measuring your ceilings, which range from 6'6" to about 6'8", that the board can give a variance for the fact that they're a little bit lower than the minimum of 7 feet. I did find that out, but I don't know if the board has anything else that, I'm a little bit, the main thing I'm concerned with is that the progress of this hasn't moved very far.
I've done everything I can do about some of them. They're supposed to get rid of the window, but I can't fix the stairs, so. I've tried not to be psychotic, I call it every few days, but, yeah.
Who are you calling?
His name is Joe Covenant, he said something, but he's obviously not getting back to me, so.
Is there someone else that you
I
called?
already, called someone today, and he came right away, so that's a good sign.
Oh,
I
good.
didn't have to wait, he came within 20 minutes, and he said it was the point, they can be nice to know.
You said
And I
what?
told him about the Clinton.
Oh, Glen Point, yes, he's a contractor in the area, yeah,
So, I think,
okay.
I'm hoping he shows up.
I just want to reiterate, just so you're aware, if the inspector wrote no tenant access to breaker,
Mhm.
what they're saying is if the only way for a tenant who's renting an apartment from you
Yeah.
can access the panel if if the fuse or the breaker goes, if you're not there, that's almost like denying them electricity. Do you see what I'm saying? So they, regardless of whoever's living there, just so you know, you're gonna have to deal with that with the electrical inspector.
Well, I would say when this work is done,
Right.
they're gonna have to come up with a way that they will be able to have access.
Because
for their
if
breaker
the tenant would
system.
have, like if you weren't home, and the electricity went
Yeah.
out, they
It's
would
only
have
happened
to be
before
able
the
to get in.
space, but,
Just so you know, that's what
it's
they're,
just recent, it was 2009 separated, that's perspective of one times why we.
He was concerned about some of the stuff, so, he actually spoke to myself, and then Bob was talking to him one day, and he just was concerned about some of the stuff. Do you?
What's the timetable of when would you act again on this, Sharon?
Well, it's active, it was supposed to be done by April 17th, so we're sort of past that timetable, but I would, it's gotta be done immediately. I mean, we actually had said this to you 2 weeks ago, and it's,
I'd like to propose that we give 2 more weeks to come forward to the board with activity, showing that she's addressing these
yeah,
concerns.
she doesn't have to come back, but I
No,
can.
she just has to
you can
report
show
to you
me,
what
yeah.
she's doing.
Right.
We have the gutter fixed.
Okay.
You
Thank
have what?
That's good.
the gutter fixed.
Right, but I really appreciate that part, but this is a really serious step. You could possibly have a fire in here regarding the electrical, you'd have a safety issue with the fact of they're on a second floor unit, and to try to go down those stairs in the back, they're just not secure. Yeah.
I'm not mandating you come back in front of the board, I'm just asking you to within 2 weeks, you contact Sharon and let her know what the progress is.
Okay.
And we'll deal with it from there
I
afterwards.
asked for it,
So,
that I did.
well, Glen Point's local, and he's very frequent, so he could probably be there in 3 days and be
They
done
did
with
come in
it.
20 minutes, so I have hope that.
He's very good, and I just want to let you know, your tenants were very friendly with him, and they spoke, they spoke very friendly, so there was no issue with the tenant and the guy that came to measure this afternoon. They had
Oh,
words,
yeah, that's
they had
right.
words with no problem at all.
I was there, they can't speak to me, so.
So, I'm just saying that they mentioned that they had no problem talking to the guy who was measuring the stairs. They had common conversation with no problem, no
They
issues.
didn't talk to me, I was there the whole time.
I don't know, but that's what they said they did, so.
Is this, are you planning to have whoever you hire to do the second means of egress, fix the things with the other doors? Okay, that's good. Because if you had the electrical done, and then these doors and the second means of egress, that's a good part of this order that would be completed, which would be great.
Okay.
So So would you do me a favor and just tell her first of importance, number one, number two, number three?
Yeah, I would say that the number, they're, I would say in line with each other, so electrical work,
1A, 1B.
and then the second means is egress. The second one after that, I would say, is getting a locking system immediately on your door, your front door, and providing the tenants with keys. And then you can work off, you know, there's the things regarding the, adjusting the doors, not only in a unit. Well, what might help if you gave him a copy of the correction order, so they could work off from it? They would know exactly, you know, what they needed to do.
This would be a one trip, not a come back and do this tax.
Right.
They may be able to.
Right. Yes, yes. Now, did you want to ask for variance tonight for the ceiling?
I prefer to, I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna grant it, but I prefer to defer to see what happens over the next 2 weeks.
Okay,
Before I
all
can
right,
get
all right.
variance. That's all right?
Sure, this one,
Okay.
all right. And same with the screen door, correct?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So once, well, I think what they're asking is that, it's not that you don't have a right to ask for that, they want you to progress on the more immediate things first. So I will come back, 2 weeks from today, because that's what they're giving you folks. And I will do a reinspection of these violations, and see where you're at.
Well, in all fairness, communicate with her.
She does.
So that's all I'm,
She seemed to get the
but all I'm asking is you communicate with her, and so she has a report to tell us something in 2 weeks. And based on what that report is, we'll go from there. And we'll call you back in for your variance waiver and stuff like that after that.
I know for a fact before the inspection you did on the 17th, between the time you first were there and the boyfriend McNail, so it was at least more stable. It was horrible with all those boards, but it was taken apart again. And then I showed him a switch. I thought it was my switch in my apartment for an outdoor light. So we went out to look at it. He said it looked like it was intentionally smashed, which I didn't notice because it's up high. And he said ice does that sometimes, but it wouldn't look like that. It was a ball, it looks like someone broke it. I'm afraid that when they repair things, they're going to take them apart.
Well, what you need to do is have them get repaired and have the water inspector sign off on it, so it's documented. And then if something like that happens, that you feel, you know, and that's your responsibility to take them to court for damages.
And I need to take more pictures.
I was just gonna say this,
And, but they
More
do have a
importantly is the
responsibility.
people doing the work will validate that they did the work. If they did the work, I'm not gonna hold it against you if there's vandalism post after the work is done. I just wanna see that the work was done, that's all I'm looking for. I mean, I'm saying we're looking for, I'm not saying I'm looking for. All we're looking for is that work is being done, it needs to be done. So if there's violations after the work is done, or damage done after the work is done, as long as I know work was done, that's what I'm asking you to do. That's
The
what
other
we're
part
asking
is,
you to do.
the tenants do have a responsibility to keep reasonable care of the apartment and not to damage stuff like that. And so there is a section in the housing code for that also. Okay. So I will keep in touch with you,
Okay.
and I will be back out to your property in 2 weeks. And why don't you call me tomorrow and give me a time that's good for you, that I could walk around with you that day?
I propose that the board take a vote to give for two additional weeks. I'm asking for a motion.
I motion that the owner gets an additional 2 weeks to put some of these steps that we've started into motion and get some progress on those, at least those top 3 items.
We have a motion on the table and second. Anything else to say? All in favor, say aye.
Fine.
Ayes have it, unanimous.
Keep that. So just give me a call tomorrow and I'll make an appointment. work around your schedule.
Okay.
It'll be 2 weeks from today on Monday. What's that?
Mondays are usually.
Okay.
Tuesday always, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You too.
Thank you for coming.
Bye, Mark.
Let's do better too.
Next on the agenda is the noise ring. Again, as Sharon has stated, we're gonna have someone come in 2 weeks to help us talk about the noise regs. So we'll pass on that tonight. Next thing on the agenda is the trash regulations, both old and new. In your packet, you did receive a copy of the current trash regulations. I took the time to go through the entire trash regulation and highlight what I thought needed to be changed. You can take a look at this if you want. But I believe there's a number of items in our trash regs that we need to make note of in our regulations. Bigger issue, number one, and I have probably several bigger issues today on the trash. Number one is that I've been reading the contract that was in our envelope today.
I just got it
I
too.
just
Well-
wasn't able to.
I'm just saying, what was in the contract, when you read the contract, it's clearly stated in the contract that this trash contract, although it's signed to go into effect July 1st, it's stated in the contract that the logically start date would be no sooner than August 1st of 2012, which puts us a month behind. It also clearly states in the contract that was signed that the owner of Waste Solutions is aware that he'll have to have curbside collection for the month of July and possibly the month of August, and to have the two-man operation and the 3 trash barrels out there. So we really don't have a clearly defined date as to when this process is really gonna occur for the town. That puts us in a really tough situation as to how we get our trash regs. So what we're gonna have to do is modify our trash regs, have a public a public meeting to announce that the trash regs will be changing. But that trash reg change date will have to be based on when the delivery of the trash barrels is available. And my understanding right now is the company that's providing those trash barrels has those on backup. So I'm not quite sure when we're going to see those. We do need to get more information from the town manager as far as when he believes the procurement will take place. We're going to have to hear our timetable for the trash reg changes to go into effect based on the delivery date of those barrels. And I'd like to get enough information out to the public soon enough so that they're aware that, number one, on July 1st, the trash trucks will still be coming down and picking up 3 barrels of trash, or 3 bags of trash, however you want to word it, and that when and if the barrels will be delivered to you, we need to get a firm start date, and we need to publicize that on our cable, our web, and the newspapers about that process. So that's some significant issues to deal with over a short period of time. And as the other members of the board come on, so you're aware of it, we'll get you a copy of the trash contract once you're sworn in, so you can start reading that. All members, I think, should be aware of what the trash contract says. That's a very new document to me, as opposed to the previous.
I don't want to skim through this one, I want to really.
Yeah, you really have to read it, and I've read it twice, and I'm just highlighting on the 3rd pass now, because it's an interesting contract.
And this is on the website, isn't it?
This is posted on the website. If you look at Abington.gov, and you look at the bottom, there's a trash truck. It's a very good selection for people in the town. At the bottom of Abington.gov, you bring up the main screen. At the bottom of the screen, there's a trash truck, and you click on that, and it brings up a new website page, which shows you a little 3-paragraph discussion of the new trash project. It has 6 buttons, radio buttons that you can click on, automated videos about what waste automated collections look like, how to pick up in the snow, what it looks like for recycling, what it looks like, the different methods. I learned via the video that there is a basin in the front of a truck that they can tip into. There's a side dump that they can tip into the side that gets pushed in. There's also a top dump from the side. So I didn't even know there were 3 different versions of the curbside trash pickup. But I did notice if you watch those videos, and I would urge the board to do so, how fast it moves along. And The front of that truck with the bin on the front of it is an extra 12 feet long. And so imagine a trash truck with another 12 feet in front of it, and it goes right overhead and dumps the thing. I hope we don't hit a wire going across when he goes to dump it, but if that's the way we're going, I don't know what ships, what type of trucks that Waste Solutions is purchasing, but this video does show you the 3 different styles of dumping. Very interesting. I noticed that not once did I see a bucket fall over when they returned it to the curb. And some of those curbs were off balance, so it was very interesting.
I'm sorry, can you reiterate, it's abington.gov?
Abington.gov, and it's at the bottom of the main page.
AbingtonMA.gov.
AbingtonMA.com, I'm sorry, AbingtonMA.gov, G-O-V.
And then,
And it's the bottom of the main page. You'll see a recycling truck. Click on that bottom of the page and it will bring you to a separate page about trash.
May I make a comment on the rules and regs?
You can make any comment you want.
Section 7, item number C, containers for rubbish and garbage must be placed at the curb at no point further than 5 feet in back of the curb. We're going to have to add that they have to be 3 feet apart.
I'm just highlighting the areas where I thought has to change. We're going to have changes, so we're basically rewriting more than half of our trash record. And we'll have to get that done over the next couple of meetings also, at least for what we understand will be the trash record. And then we'll have to clarify that after that. And we will have to have a public forum when we do publish a new trash reg so that everyone is aware of it. I would recommend that possibly, if at all possible, we could publish it on the website and even somehow get it out onto the local paper, the Mariner, the Enterprise, and the Patriot Ledger, either the website where they can go read it or make it available to them and let them know that they're going to get a copy, whatever is necessary. But the citizens need to get informed about this frequently and often over the next several months, so we're in tune with whenever this conversion is going to occur.
When's the town meeting, special town?
21st of May.
it's a great
Last I heard.
history of the world.
Your birthday.
Thank you.
No excuses, I don't want to hear it. So as you can see, take the time to look at the trash reg, highlight it yourself and make your own decision. But it looked like to me that there's a number of areas where we have to make changes to the trash reg, and that could keep us busy for a little while.
Okay?
While we're on the trash, it was brought to my attention in the past several days that a change was put on the trash line item, and that change is including a $403,000 expense line to the waste line to include the cost of the trash barrels. Now, when I first spoke to John and heard about this, and we had conversations at our meetings, the cost of what we were anticipating was approximately $300,000+. What I have learned since then is that apparently we can only get reimbursed for the recycle barrels, not for the trash barrels.
That's correct.
And therefore the total cost to the town went up a little. So, but what surprised me more than anything else is that I don't know this for a fact, so I'm speaking with what I do and don't know, except for what's been presented to the board and what Mary DeRocher was given as far as having to fill out. What type of form was it?
RFP.
An RFP, that we had to put a line item in on our trash line item for $403,000. If I understand that correctly, that means that whatever money is given to us at the town meeting, $403,000 is going to pay for the trash barrels, the recycle barrels and the trash barrels, off our top. And now that's $100,000 plus more than what we anticipated, and that would make a shortfall. And I'm almost positive I'd be back in April of 2013 to the town saying, we're short, we're gonna need money to pay for our trash bill. Because although we are going to 1 barrel from 3 barrels, and although as of March of this year, in the past 9 months, we have already saved 430 tons on the trash bill, which amounts to close to $40,000. And if April, May, and June numbers stay the same, that we have seen steadily, we probably will be somewhere in the vicinity of 480 to 500 tons savings in our trash for this 12 months. We could return a potential $45,000 to $50,000 if all goes according to plan to the town in June because of the savings we had on our current trash program.
Yeah, we'll be happy with that.
And the other thing is that our recycling program, although for the first 3 months of 2012, we have seen a decrease in the amount of recycling, we have overall for the year, we have increased the amount of recycling by 43 tons. So we are doing more than we did a year ago with
Right.
both trash. We're doing less in trash and more in recycling than we were a year ago, which is a positive sign. And I believe, I've been asking the question to several people, why they think that the recycling has gone down in January, February, and March. I haven't got a really clear answer from anyone.
You mean gone up?
Gone up. So I'm a little concerned that we haven't seen more
It hasn't gone
recycling.
down. It just hasn't gone up.
Now, you got me. It's,
I think the more that people do it, the more,
we should be
The
seeing,
easier it is
we should
for
be
people.
seeing more recycling tonnage, and I don't believe we've seen that in the last 3 months. And
you know, we can't compare it to last year.
yeah, pretty much, because
And last year.
we started this program in January of last year. And we had the one month, which was a jump month, January to February. We had a jump month where we had to deal with the increase instead of a decrease. And then after that, we saw a steady increase in recycling and a decrease in trash. We did, in January, we did 101 tons of recycling. In January, the year before, we did 114 tons of recycling. In February, we did 93 tons of recycling. Of 2011, we did 89 tons in 2012. So far, I've recorded a plus 451 in trash decrease in tonnage and a plus 47.68% increase in recycling. So I'm assuming that we're going to continue seeing a plus on recycling for the year and a more increase in the decrease in the trash tonnage to present us more money back when we're paying $80 a ton.
But that, how does that affect the fact that this new budget's going in and we're losing money because we have to purchase barrels?
I want the town to know what the board did to decrease the cost over the past 12 months when we're going to argue over the next contract. I want to present to the town that we had changed the trash regs and that we were going in the right direction. And I think it's important that we reflect the numbers that show that. So I think it's very important that the people in town know what we've done for savings. However, if what I understand is true, and I understand there was a deficit in the town of approximately $530-something thousand that the town had to address. We did see some cuts in our line items that I have not officially seen the balance of, but as Sharon pointed out, she did receive something from the town manager,
Oh, that's why it's sent.
which was sent out, which actually told us we lost our part-time, what we were hoping to hire a part-time inspector. We lost the petition that we wanted to get so Sharon could have a certified office, which was required by law. We also saw some line items moved, which one of those line items moved was the temporary or the part-time trash compliance inspector. We didn't lose her, the money was moved to trash. So I don't know if that money was moved to trash to cover trash costs or make it our determination to whether or not we wanted to keep her maybe for the first 3 months and not for the whole year or whatever we wanted to do. But it has been moved to a different line item in our trash bill. It was not deleted, it was moved.
And that would be in a salary line item?
It was salary line item from, and then a separate line item to be included in the trash line item for salary. So that's-
Because we just surprisingly found out about a bump in a waste collection line item up to $400,000.
right.
If she's under salary, then
I had her as a separate line item specifically in the, I believe in the trash budget part. a separate, totally separate for her salary and then also her mileage line item, two separate line items.
And they moved both of those. So, again, I just want the board to be aware that this is stuff that we have to be aware of and stuff that's coming our way. And my feeling is that if these are actual, true financial results that are coming down our way on our budget, I feel obligated to get up in front of the town in May and let it be known what I feel is the right and wrongs of what's been happening to our budget. This will be the ninth year that I've been aware of that what the budget gets played with again, once again during the fiscal planning process, and once again, we get shortchanged. And it's up to us to find a way to pay the bill. And I think we went above and beyond a year ago to help the town, and that process is the approval of showing that we will be able to return money because we did save tonnage and we did increase recycling with the program that was in place. And now, all of a sudden, we've gone short again, not because of anything that we've done or anything we've done. And we have, I believe, just so everyone knows, there was an environmental day a week ago on Saturday. It was sent out, Jim Dombrowski sent out an email to a bunch of people. Several of the selectmen had made mention to John about something being done down there. I took it upon myself to contact the Board of Health, contact the town manager. I was told to go to the highway department to get the sample barrels. I brought the sample barrels down to that environmental day and spent 4 hours down there, answering questions about the barrels and about composting and stuff like that. Again, handouts. I came into the office on Friday and brought a bunch of handouts on recycling and stuff like that, and spent the afternoon, that Saturday afternoon, down there. Although it wasn't highly populated, we did receive a number of people.
This is where you need the elevator music.
We did receive a high number of compliments on the trash system, although some elderly people thought it was a burden to them because they don't have a lot of trash to put into the barrels, and they weren't really excited about keeping the trash over several weeks because it would smell. So I did not disagree. Secondly, to that point of view, because of that, this past Saturday during Election Day, I took it upon myself to come up with the signage and bring up the barrels up to the Election Day and post them up on the school property outside the Half Moon Circle, so people could see samples of what the trash barrels would be. The town manager had on his own accord contacted Waste Solutions and asked them to show up with the actual samples of the trash barrels with the yellow lid and the green lid, and they were up in front of right in front of the doors. And they did a very nice job. One of the owners was there. They handed out a single stream recycling and a copy of our webpage documentation about curbside recycling and with all the points of interest where you can look at videos about trash. So I thought Waste Solutions was there from approximately 9:30, 10 o'clock till 3 p.m. And they had different people there over a period of different times.
That Terry's looking at is the one I mentioned a couple weeks ago that Mary found that I thought was a really useful demonstration of what you can recycle. Just wanted to let you know that. Yeah.
So I just want the board to know we have been trying to support the town manager and the town, showing that the Board of Health, I mean, we have to manage whatever we have to get for a waste system anyhow. So it's not that we're trying to support this to the best of our ability. Wind overtook my display more than once. They finally said, well, since Waste Solutions is here with the actual barrels, I put it away. So, but we have been trying. We did it Environmental Day and we did it on Voter Day. No, they're not heavy at all. You can move them with 2 fingers. They have 9-inch wheels. They're very flexible. And I thought having them actually there, more town residents could actually see what the barrels will look like. So I thought it was a very good display that day. But
Thank you for doing that.
And thanks, Bob.
I just think that we need to show our willingness to cooperate and do our part. And I just wish I would have known. I wouldn't have embarrassed myself with displaying a pink and green barrel on election morning for a couple of hours before I took them down. So, but other than that, I'm fine with it. So that's the trash. Any other questions on trash regulations? told me knew anybody had any issues. I think you're now aware of what I'm aware of, as far as monetary issues, budget line item issues.
I did find out from DPH, they are going to, I apologize, DEP. They are going to be giving $13 a piece back for the carts, for the recycling, for having a 64 gallon toter, just to let you know.
I have a question about, this $406,000, $403,000. Is that what we think the final cost is? Is it less than $13? Because we don't have the grant yet.
Yeah, no,
And we
that's,
know how grants work.
right, that's before, I believe that is before the grant.
Okay, so
Because you're right, we haven't been told we're getting the grant. I am in the process of preparing it, submitting it. I'm working on that one plus one for the school, as you know, which are all together, so you submit them all at the same time. But no,
Okay, so 403 is our
I believe
cost.
that's
grant for no grant.
before the rebate from the state.
Okay, so the money that would come back from the state would go back into the general fund? and-
Correct.
Only on the recycle, not on the trash?
Yes.
Yeah, it's approximately $59,000 refund on the recycle barrels, 4,500 households. So, give or take, numbers.
And when did you find this out? And how come this
Over the
wasn't-
last 3 days.
How come this wasn't made aware to anyone prior, do you know?
It was an internal memo that was out on Friday to Mary from the town manager's office that we needed to get a expense form
Yes.
finalized.
So
And
no one foresaw this before?
Not the Board of Health.
No, we didn't know anything about it, no.
I'm just bringing it to your attention because that's what I've learned. I mean,
Oh, no,
I'm
I'm
not
glad
telling you
you
anything I
did.
don't know and it's not official, but these are things that are out there that we just weren't aware of that we have to deal with. So, the fact that we have,
I do think there was a confusion of when DEP talked about carts,
yeah,
that there was an assumption, which I actually would say I own too, think we were doing it for both. I didn't realize it was just for recycling.
okay.
Yeah.
Be that as it may, it's still an expense that we're gonna have to find a way to pay. I mean, my understanding was that the expense of the $300 and something thousand to pay for the carts was gonna come out of free cash, and that money would be returned to the free cash over the next 2 years, based on the savings that we were gonna receive during our, and then I was trying to figure out, well, according to John, he mentioned that the first year would have to pay for it. So I thought how we paid for it is that any excess money we had left over from this program next June would be applied to the bill to pay for the carts, along with free cash to pay for them, as opposed to having it added to my line item of my budget. And I think I speak the truth when I say I was never aware that this would be a line item on my trash budget for fiscal 2013. I thought this was gonna come out of the town's free cash account, paid for, and then based on the savings that we would return back after the first year or the second year, that the town would see those savings over those 2 years, and that would be reflected in the money we return back based on our budget. That's not the way it's gonna be. Maybe it will be, I don't know, but as of right now, my understanding is that there's an additional line item on our budget of $403,000 to pay for the cost of the barrels, both recycling and trash. And that will be against whatever we get budgeted for our trash contract.
I really, to be honest with you, I don't really know which way it's going.
Well, I
I
don't-
really don't.
It's confusing, and we need to get an
Well, it's
answer.
unfortunate with the Board of Health, and we're supposed to be supporting this program, but the story keeps changing, so the communication does need to improve. I don't like being caught,
Significantly.
I don't like being caught blindsided. I didn't do this just to come sit up here and willy-nilly make votes. I want to be educated in my decision-making.
Okay, anything else on trash?
No.
Okay, the next thing on the agenda is leaves and Groveland Street site cleanup.
Not got any response back. And when I was stopped by the compost site this past Saturday for the cleanup, the gentlemen that were there, and I hope they're watching, quite upset because that pile has not moved in over a year. And I
Okay,
got to hear
so,
all about it.
I believe we have some money.
They
We have about, I think, around $6,000.
So let's say we have about $5,000. I'd like to propose that the board allocate some funding. If we need to go out to bid or how we do this, I don't know, Sharon, but we need to hire a contractor that can move the piles around so that we have someplace to move our leaves that are there, at least get them stacked back. So my request would be is that with whoever we need to contact, we should push the pile behind the current new leaf pile back into a hill, as far back as possible without causing any problem with the water. Take the pile to the far left, which is the longest pile, and push that back as far as possible without blocking the road, and piling that up using our front end loader. And then using the front end loader, bring the leaves over and create a new stacked one on that longest pile on the left-hand side to get everything out of the way and actually leave room for new stuff to be dropped, if possible, on that left side. And at least give us some room to expand, because we don't know if we're gonna get the money in our trash down the budget to work the Groveland Street side or not yet. That has yet to be determined, and we won't know until May 21st. And until we know that, we can't expel money to get a grinder up there and get that pile grinded and dumped back in again. And when we do grind it, it will be smaller than it is now, so that we can actually save space. But in the meantime, in this new trash contract, they talked about having a yard waste collection in the spring and a yard waste collection in the fall. Well, given the fact that the contract doesn't begin until July 1st, if I read it correctly, I believe the first collection for yard waste will be in the fall of 2012. We also have Christmas tree pickup, which we'll have to determine as a board of what day after Christmas, or what Saturday after Christmas that we would like to elect to tell the people, the citizens of the town, to put their Christmas tree out, so that that one Saturday, given the weather, all the trees in the town will be picked up. However, we need to open up the Groveland Street site for that day so the truck can have easy in and easy out, and we need to dedicate a space where we're gonna put them. And my request would be to the board is that as soon as that's done, that we would hire a chipper grinder to get those chipped and ground as quickly as possible up there. So that they become a mulch pile of pine chips that we could also utilize either for the citizens or at least for the landfill going forward. So those are my two suggestions, and to make the board aware of it right now, of what we need to do about the Groveland Street site. So I would seek a request to allocate $5,000 of the money we have available to us to either go out to bid or hire a contractor to move the piles that are existing currently right now back as far as possible into a hill, because that's all viable landfill coverage right now, because it's been there for a couple of years. And to move all the existing current leaf bags to the far left as possible for now. Once we know what our line item budget will be in May, and if we did get our grinding fee, we should have a separate meeting about the Groveland Street site to talk about hiring a commercial grinder chipper, because there's a number of trees and branches that are in along the side of the road, the far left-hand side, that we need to address, as well as the leaf pile. So the grinding machine can handle stumps, it can handle anything, so we can get rid of all that at one time and throw it all in, at least get the piles turned for the first time again. And maybe present something that the citizens could utilize in the future.
Now, where do you say we have this money, what account?
This is from our,
This is the money that we get from bulk items.
So it's one of our revolving accounts?
Yes, yes.
Okay, and do we only have one account now?
We have two
Two.
revolving accounts. One is the revolving account for the compost site, and the other one is for tobacco fines that go to the
Okay,
school.
so it would be the money out of the revolving account for the compost?
Correct.
that's correct.
All right, I'll motion to appropriate up to $5,000 from the,
We may not need to spend, just before you
Up
make
to,
that.
that's why I said up
yes,
to.
please. I don't want to spend more than $5,000, but I don't think it's going to require $5,000 either, but I want to be able to get what we need to get done.
done. So if we make a motion to spend up to $5,000 from the compost revolving account for the purposes of clearing the compost site. And
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and second to, allowing up to $5,000 expense to be made at the Groveland Street site based on the meetings with the Board of Health, to clean up and make the area acceptable going forward, before the end of this fiscal year. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Any further discussion? I take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
You guys have it, unanimous. What's that? 3-0.
3-0.
3-0-0, thank you very much. We need to pursue that next, Sharon, okay? So I just need to find out if we need to go out to bid or if we can hire EOMHC or whatever we
I
need
called
to do.
Claire, get some suggestions from
Yeah,
Claire.
because we do belong to this group, so
Yeah.
there's discounts that are available.
Correct, that's what I was
so
gonna call.
Thank you. She's great to work with. Can I
Okay.
just say one more thing about the Roland Street
Please
site?
do, yes.
People, for whatever reason, sometimes leave their compost trash and occasionally something else, but leaf bags in front of the gates. And we have a lot of town residents, we have a few town residents, I don't know their names, I wish I knew their names, that when they come in, they see that, they just take it upon themselves and
Load their
load their vehicle
vehicle.
and bring those bags in. And I just want to throw thanks out to the people who do that for us. There is one person at our table that does that as well. It really helps out the people that are there because sometimes that gate is really blocked.
And I would like to second what you have to say, but more importantly, express my inner desire that if people could wait, given the fact that we're leaving the gates open and having the gates open more frequently, but if they could just wait till the Saturdays to bring their leaves up. The senior citizens that are helping this town by mandating and manning those stations would be grateful if you didn't block the gates. It's really a hazard to the town and to them, and I would really appreciate it if you could just hold off of bringing your yard waste up until the gates are open. And we are trying to make it accessible on Saturdays so that everyone has time to get their stuff up there. So I commend Terry, who's been very involved with that in her help and also what she's had to say. Okay?
Good?
Good.
Sounds good, Bob.
Election day.
Did you win, Bob?
Unfortunately, darn, I did win.
Did you get a vote or two?
I got 1,650 something votes.
A little show off.
So I did actually get more votes than anybody else who's
In the
ran.
history?
No, who ran
For that
Saturday.
day.
For that day, and I ran unopposed.
Wow.
So, and I was there all day, from 6 a.m. I went up, put my signs up, and I left at 6:30 p.m. So
They let your barrel display.
I don't know why Linda was up, Linda Dickey, who was seeking, why we don't know, but seeking to be a write-in candidate to be up there, was up there, handing out and shaking hands and pressing the flesh, as they say, as politics goes. But I appreciate the citizens of the town's vote of confidence in their votes, and I'm grateful for them. Thank you very much. And
Votes well taken.
I look forward to hopefully having a Board of Health where people are more interested in being members of in the future, so that we have more, not so much competition, but more interest in being part of the Board of Health, because this really is an important job, and we are dedicated to our task, everyone at this table, and no more or less than Sharon, our health agent. We do have a big responsibility, and I think we do it to the best of our ability, week in and week out. And we are trying, and we are improving with our communications and our job work every week. So I thank all the board members that are currently there, and I look forward to the new members who will be joining us soon. And that's all we have for election day. Environmental day, I gave you my report already, that environmental day, I did take the time to show the trash barrels off that we had, and that went off very well. I just want to say that, as Terry has done in the past for other things, I really did enjoy my time out in the field with the public. I got asked a lot of questions, and it was good to let people know that the Board of Health is out there sponsoring composting, sponsoring how to recycle, and I think it's a really good positive highlight on the Board of Health. So I look forward to that.
Can I give an update on last week's cleanup? That's sage, right?
There was also a sage cleanup this past Saturday during the elections, so while we're talking about election day, let's just let Terry talk about sage cleanup on that day.
The cleanup went very well. This is our third, that was our Sage's third annual cleanup. Our first cleanup was massive because there was just so much roadside trash, but as the years have gone by, we're seeing less and less of that, so bravo to everybody. We had 15 teams, I believe, sign up. We had t-shirts this year, and another great participation. Thanks to everybody in the town for keeping our town clean.
That's it,
That's it?
that's it.
That's all I wanted to say?
I just-
Okay,
I
Sharon, did you have something to say?
Speaking- Yes, just real quick. I met with Norwell V&A a few weeks ago because their contract will be coming back around again, and I'll have to present to you folks. And again, I want to thank Margie for bringing their company to our town because it's been incredible. I did inform them, which they weren't aware of the new Sharps program for July 1st, so they were very grateful to hear about that. I actually might be choosing to piggyback with them on their disposal program for Sharps. They have one in place, and for $35 a box extra, I could piggyback onto them, which actually would be more cost savings for us. I also talked to them about having a sign-up sheet for pneumonia vaccine. I also talked to them about perhaps setting aside Monday or Tuesday of the last of the month at the senior center to have special programs on, like maybe podiatry, Alzheimer's, different informative presentations for folks rather than just clinics for a particular day. So I just wanted to tell you that. And I thought that they could maybe set something up that we could put out on the website for next fiscal year of knowing what date is what for what particular topics. I just wanted to throw that out to you folks too.
I would like to be more involved in that, so maybe
Sure.
just keep me up to date on it, if there's anything I could kind of
Do you
do or
want to
work with them.
Try to go to the next meeting I have for them.
When is it?
It'll be sometime in May. I went in a couple weeks ago and met with Sheila.
Is it during the day?
Yes.
Work
yeah.
is tough for me, but if I was off, I would go.
Why don't you let me know some of your days and I can
Okay.
schedule around that. I met with Sheila. Irene's husband wasn't well, so Irene couldn't meet with me, but I met with Sheila and we had some pretty good presentations.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so I just wanted to throw that out. That's been one of the best things I think we've done. And then the gentleman from Maven came up from down from Boston and showed me how to use Maven as my part of read-only, which is really good. Yeah. So,
Oh, good, I'm
yeah.
happy about that. Yeah, as you know, the budgeting stuff is not my forte, but any of the health education, I would love
That'd
to
be
be part
wonderful.
of.
I just thought it'd be a good program to put
Yeah.
forth, and then have
There's
a
a lot
list
of teaching we can do.
and they're very anxious to do it.
Yeah.
They're very excited to do it. But I just thought we could put out like a bulletin of what certain months, of what days, what would be presented.
Mhm.
People could pick and choose what they wanted to go to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be great.
Yeah. That's all I had to say.
Okay. Is there anything else to be said on that subject matter? Okay, voucher is out there, as I explained to you, we have the new system. So we have minutes for the last 3 minutes. The first minutes we're talking about are January 3rd.
We already voted.
I just wanted to make sure before I sign them.
Those were,
Your words are here,
yeah,
okay,
Oh, good.
they're an attachment to it.
thank you,
So I just want to make sure that you're aware of that.
thanks.
And Sharon's words are here also.
Yeah,
You did put them in
yeah,
here?
I did get a chance to, yeah.
So do you want to waive on that before we?
Yeah.
Or do you want to pass it with your amendments to be posted?
You can pass it with my minutes to be posted,
And
sure.
do you want to announce what your amendments would be, or do you care? I thought we did this at the last
We
meeting,
actually
but.
did
Yeah,
this
we
the last
just, yeah,
meeting.
we are. I just gotta
So,
write a little blurb up.
all in favor of the January 3rd minutes with the amendments as stated? Say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Do we need to make a motion?
I don't know, do we need to make a motion?
Well, just
I
to be on the
don't
safe
know if we
side.
did or didn't.
Well,
I thought we had the last meeting.
We did it the last meeting, but
Okay.
if you want to do it again.
Do it again.
just to be on the safe side, motion to accept the minutes from January 3rd, 2012 with the amendments from our last meeting.
Second,
Motion and second, is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
aye.
Ayes have it, it's passed. Next minutes are March 26th, President's Board meeting, Christine, Terry, and Markey. These are old minutes that were out before. I don't know if anyone has any questions, if you want to look at them quickly.
Can I just take a quick look?
And the next minutes be after that are the April 9th minutes, President's Board meeting, Terry, Christine, Margie, and Sharon. They were sent out in the packet. I don't know if you had time to look at this today.
No, I haven't had a chance to look at them.
Okay, do you want to stay on that until the next meeting? Or do you want to vote on it? We'll take an opinion on either one.
Oh, if you give me a minute, I'll
The,
go through this.
the March 26th, I believe we can vote on.
Okay? If you
Yeah,
don't
that's,
have-
that's just what I'll add afterwards.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The March 26th?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll wait on that one.
We can either wait, or we can vote on it with them,
It's
with
up to you.
Sharon's amendments. I don't really care.
Okay, well, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes pending Sharon's
Addendum.
addendum.
Okay.
Second.
Motion and second to accept the minutes of March 26th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. The March 26th minutes were passed
300.
300 with Sharon amendments to be added. Correct, Monday?
Yes.
Okay. If you have a chance, the minutes of the April 9th meeting were in your packet today. If you could just please look at them over quickly.
Motion to accept the minutes from April 9th.
We have a motion to accept the minutes from April 9th. Do we have a second? We have a second and a second.
I will second.
We have a motion to accept the minutes of April 9th and second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. It's unanimous. It's 300.
300.
And that actually catches it up with minutes, believe it or not. I think we're 100% where we need to be.
Oh, this is my copy. Don't touch me.
I just have a quick question. Do you want me to try to have the gentleman that works with Creative Outdoors come before a meeting for you folks to meet
I would
again?
like that. I didn't need them.
Okay.
I would suggest you put them on the same meeting we have DEP coming in 2 weeks.
Only a couple visitors.
That way we have visitors and get that out of the
That'll be
way.
exciting.
Last thing is old and new business on my agenda, unless somebody else wants to add something to the agenda.
Is it?
Okay, old and new business, I'll go down the table. Terry,
All set?
Margie,
I'm good.
Okay.
Sharon.
Okay.
It just so happens, I have some old and new business. I love my job.
I think it's a
No, actually, the only old new business I want to make the board aware of again is the FinCom and our meeting tomorrow night and Wednesday night.
There's a
Talk
meeting
about
tomorrow
budgets, I believe there's a meeting tomorrow night and the other night. I think that was posted, the meeting 2 nights in a row, the FinCom.
I didn't know.
with the Board of Health.
No, not with the Board of Health. FinCom is meeting on their own to discuss
Oh.
finances of the town.
Okay.
I don't know how involved you want to be in the finances of the town, but they're in crunch time. They have to come up with approval prior to the selectmen have to vote approval. So the FinCom has to give the selectmen what they're gonna say and what they're not gonna say, and then the selectmen have to vote on what they're gonna say and not gonna say before the meeting on the 21st. And given the fact that the selectmen may or may not have a meeting next Monday night, and if they do have a meeting next Monday night, I will ask as many of the members of the board as possible, or at least 3 of us.
Actually, they do have a meeting. 'cause I-
Is it posted?
Yeah.
That I would, because Ann Welch is gonna be sponsored to become part of the member, and I would like to have that vote done. It's a 15-minute involvement
When is
I'm
it?
gonna be there.
next Monday night at 6:30.
I'm gonna be there.
So,
Get sworn in.
if you
before
get
next
sworn in
Monday.
before next Monday,
I think I'm gonna do it tomorrow.
okay, and I'd appreciate you coming at 6:30 next Monday night. And then we would be able to vote and add it to the board, but if Marky could make it, this will be 3 voting members.
I'll try to make it then.
Okay, but that would be helpful, and that would give us a full potential board for our next meeting, which would be the following Monday. So, that would give us a nice presentation to go forward.
And there's only one candidate, correct?
Yeah, Dan, she's the only person, and she's been responsive again. I also want to put forward to the board tonight as to rather than reorganizing the board tonight, as normally would happen after an election, I would seek a motion to continue that until after the other 2 members join the board, and then we can have a full contingent of the board to make the decision to reorganize the Board of Health. I would take that under motion,
Sounds good.
a motion to be made and second.
Motion to put off next meeting, in 2 weeks.
Motion to reorg,
Second that?
motion to reorg and second has been proposed. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it, it's unanimous, 300. We'll have our reorg at our next meeting. And that'll be on our agenda item also. If there's nothing else,
Could I just ask Sharon to maybe, if, get tonight's packet out to Linda?
Absolutely.
Because this does have some good stuff in it, and
I'll have Mary make a
it just, it'll give her a nice start.
We're very
Do we
excited
have,
to
do
have
we
you.
have your, you don't have to do it on, but
Did I motion?
if you can just give me your address. I'll write it down. Did you folks sign the vouchers, if I can print that?
Yes, ma'am. Right on the back? You know what?
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn,
Second.
motion to adjourn second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it, meeting is over.
I want to read this.
You're good.
I bring it back.
I'm going, you going downstairs?
Yes.
You know, right now?
Yeah.
What?
I was just running around my feet.